Hey guys, this is Tucker from MACkite Boarding. Just driving home from LSP. Testing out some new wings, some exciting new products. And I figured I'd make use of the little drive I had here and come at you with a fresh review. So I was just out riding the new 2026 Cabrinha Mantis Apex. So this is kind of the hottest new, highest construction technology wing from Cabrinha, and they were kind enough to send me a demo. Thanks guys. And the Mantis has been a great wing for a number of years. I've really, year after year they make some subtle improvements. I always really enjoy it. It's that kind of performance pedigree, but also very surfy kind of an option where you can kind of get out and race your buddies and feel competitive, but also get into the shred on the waves, and it blasts upwind, gets you back up into the lineup quick. So it's a good wing to rely on for a number of different things, as long as you're looking for that speedier type feel, that forward pull, and that kind of pedigree where you're riding a little bit faster. So needless to say, I've been excited to try the Mantis Apex version. This is the new Apex version, I should mention, which is the Aluula T-section with performance Dacron wingtips. This is not the previous gray version with Aluula Gold, which is some of the premium stuff in the market. Get the weight down a little bit, improve our stiffness and sleekness on the leading edge and strut, and then use some performance Dacron in the wingtips just to keep it nice and light and stable, and a little bit more affordable than a full Aluula model. So yeah, I had high hopes, we'll say, going out there, and I have to say it's kind of what I expected. It's right in line with that Mantis pedigree, meaning it's got forward pull, kind of that apparent wind generation profile where it wants to be ridden fast, it wants to be ridden powered, and has that legendary Cabrinha Mantis surfiness where it's nice and stable in the luff. It can be redirected with some input, but for the most part you can just luff it out and it does its thing nicely. Did the new Aluula upgrades and the redesign on the construction, really level it up a ton. I would say maybe a little. If you're crazy about having the lightest wing, I would say it certainly does that. It's a little lighter than your standard Mantis. It's probably a similar weight to the Cabrinha Air, which has been one of my favorite surf wings. Certainly more expensive than both of those, so it is a premium product. But if you're a Mantis lover and you want it to be the absolute lightest wing with the best high end and upwind performance, that Aluula definitely gives you that extra bit of edge on the top end. So if you're like, yeah, the Mantis is great for surf, but when I go race my buddies at the rec league, they're beating me because they've got race pedigree wings, but you don't want to buy a separate wing for racing, I think this is definitely a wing that could do both. In terms of beginner riders, I would say this isn't a beginner wing. Number one, the price point is high, so it's just not a wing that you're really going to benefit from at that price point as a new rider until you progress to a level where you're really making use of the extra couple of ounces in weight savings and that extra bit of high-end performance and upwind ability. It is a bit stiffer, so the ride is a bit more direct and bumpy, which can be a good thing if you know what you're doing and you know how to feel those things out. But if you don't, it's not quite as pull and go, since it doesn't flex as much. It doesn't settle into that kind of automatic gear, I guess. You definitely want to get it at the right angle on the sail and find that sweet spot. And really it's happiest when it's really powered up to way overpowered, based on my experience. You can go out and ride it when it's fairly light, and I have ridden it actually with the Flight Lab Amp S in some really light underpowered days, but it's not really doing its thing. in those kind of conditions. You know, it'll do its thing. It surfs well, it's light, so it flags well in those light conditions, but you know, it's just kind of an okay wing when it's riding overpowered, or when it's riding underpowered. But it really starts to show its performance and its pedigree when you get into the upper half of its wind range. You really want to ride this thing lit. If you're a person that always wants to ride the smallest wing, this is probably not your wing. But if you're one person that wants to have one wing that covers a really vast range, and you tend to want to ride faster because you're on smaller foils and smaller boards, I think this is a nice option. Handle layout, starting at the leading edge. The handle is a hard handle on the leading edge, which is unique. It really gives you a super direct feel for what the wing's doing when it's luffing out, and gives you a lot of leverage to correct that before it starts getting out of hand and rocking back and forth. So that surf handle really helps with that. It's also removable if you're racing for less drag, which is cool. The strut handles has two long handles, slight inward cant, very comfortable, really nice ergonomics on the bar, very easy to hold on to and adjust, kind of seats you right into there, into the cockpit, and I'm a big fan of that. It's also got an optional boom. Or if you're a racer and you're really wanting that boom, it is an option. That's an additional add-on. So the handles come included. If you want the boom, you got to buy it separate, but it's not overly expensive. So there's that, and you just screw it on. So for travel, you can unscrew your handle, bring one of them with you, multiple wings, pack those bags up tight, and then put your handle in with your board. So that's neat. The overall construction, everything seems really on point. The panel layout seems really nice. It's very stiff canopy, fast canopy, and I think it does what it's intended to. And it's cool to see Cabrinha break out of that kind of same mold, I guess. I've been making the Vision for a number of years. It's been very similar. Great wing, but similar, not a lot of huge changes. The Vision is very similar to the Mantis, only it's got more grunt and lift for those freestyle guys or for beginner riders or light wind. And then the Air has kind of stepped into what was previously the Mantis's territory, I think, being very lightweight, stable surf wing. But it doesn't have that high-end capability, that speed, in that upper end range and upwind ability. So I think it was smart of them to come with the Mantis Apex, to really put that in a different category from the Vision and the Mantis Air, Air, and then the regular Mantis, and then the Mantis Apex now. So it fits nicely in their categories. It's definitely still an accessible wing, so if you're up and riding confidently and you're in a mountain lake or something, so you want a wing that's able to handle some really high gusts, I think this is a great application for it. But I think the most people that are going to be buying the Mantis Apex will be those people that want to be able to cook around, ride fast, do some speed runs, free ride, but then also surf. And really people that are saying, yeah, the Air is great, but I want more high speed performance, powered up performance, upwind speed, that kind of thing. So in terms of my review of the good, the bad, the ugly, I think they kind of hit the nail on the head with what we've been talking about. It does all of that really well. Is it as fast as a race wing? No. Does it surf better than any race wing that's out there? Yep. Is it competitive at the highest level of racing? Probably not. As compared to the dual skin wings and the skin and a half wings and these race pedigrees that are really, that's all they do is uncompromising speed and upwind. It doesn't quite match that based on my experience, but it is a really fun recreational race, free ride, wave wing for those people that want to hit all those categories. And there's a lot of people in the market that want that kind of performance that doesn't need, you know, the type of wing that'll ride 35 knots or whatever. So I think that's pretty rad, and I think it fits really good into their lineup. If they had produced another just kind of basic Mantis with an upgraded construction, I would say the Air is much more affordable. It's more of a surfy wing, and it would have been a better wing. So it's good that they unlocked that performance and kind of put it in a new category for this year. If you're a Mantis lover from previous years, I would say, you know, if you want more of a dedicated surf performance, look at the Air. That wing is fantastic. The price point is insane, and you can get that from that wing. If you're looking for, you know, that race pedigree, free ride, speedy, but also capable in the waves, take a look at the Mantis. And if you want the best of the best in that category, the Mantis Apex will do it for you, but you will pay a pretty penny for it. So we'll see if there's people that are willing to shell out the cash for that construction, or if they say, hey, the regular Mantis is already really fantastic, that's good enough for me at a lower price point. So I can't make that decision for you, but that's the details. As with the past few years, the Cabrinha wings this year come in the awesome mom purse style bag, which I am a huge fan of. I wish everybody would do it. It's a huge duffel bag. You could probably fit 3 wings in it if you really wanted to, but you can fit your wing, a pump, you know, a couple of pair of wings, your harness, whatever in these things, and it's just 2 nice handles to carry down to the beach. You don't need to snap 20 things onto the bag and barely fit your wing inside it, folded origami style. The fit, I love the utility of the big bag. Throw it in, carry it down there. I love that you can throw a couple of wings in there, or a couple of pair of wings, and whatever you need for the day at the beach, and just go with it. So I think that's a real underrated part of the Cabrinha lineup, and maybe I'm crazy for being so excited about it, but it's something I appreciated every session, and it's something I end up grabbing. Even when I'm not riding my Cabrinha wings, I grab my Cabrinha bag just to throw all my crap in and go. So that's pretty sweet, and I love that they don't overcomplicate it and charge extra for a super special fancy backpack that most people don't use anyway. So that's that. Is there anything I would change on this wing? We'll nitpick a bit. I think, you know, the price can always change. It's really hard to do that with Aluula, and I think they really nailed the placement of the Aluula on this one with the strut and the T-section of the leading edge, where it really matters most, in the thickest part generally of the bladder of the wing, to really cut that weight, to cut that drag. And it works great. The performance Dacron really backs it up nicely and gives it a nice, comfortable, smooth feel, with the way the ends can reflex a little bit and adapt to gusts. You know, can we knock down the price? Excuse me. A few $100 and go with performance Dacron strut as well? Maybe. Hard to say until you test it. And the Cabrinha design team does do a really nice job of proper R&D. So I guess we'll leave that in their hands, but maybe something to think about in the future if it's possible. Go just a tiny bit thicker on the leading edge, or excuse me, tiny bit thicker on the strut with a lower price material, and then perhaps bring that price down, you know, into the 15 hundo range rather than the 2K range. I think would be a welcome thing for a lot of people. I mean, if you're buying a 3-wing quiver, that means you saved 1 wing worth of price. So maybe in the future, I don't know, or maybe I'm just nitpicking too much, asking too much, and that's that. But it is darn near a full Aluula wing for around $2,000, which is hard to do nowadays. So good work, Cabrinha. Keep it up. And for all you guys, let us know if you have any questions, comments, put them in the comments section below. As always, hit subscribe. We recently hit 100,000 subscribers. We're pretty stoked on that. We'd love to make it 200,000 in the next year or two. So help us out with that if you enjoy our content. If you don't, still subscribe. You can unsubscribe some other time. Anyway, guys, we're always available at the shop. Hit us up on a phone call, chat, email, live chat, whatever you can get a hold of us, and we'll be happy to chat with you about what might be the next gear for you, or your next performance progression, or maybe you're having trouble and you just want to talk about some things that you can do to hopefully alleviate that. We'd be happy to help. See you next time, guys.